Hi, Jenna. Welcome to the screencast of your draft of your final exam essay. I love that you commented today to ask me a question, especially since I had it open while you were there. I am finally getting to it, so I hope you have time today or tomorrow to go ahead and look at your screencast. So, the first thing I'm doing is putting it over into Word. The reason I'm doing this is so that I can make changes to it and you still have to go back and do them on your own. One of the things that I'm going to do first is go through and point out some like tiny minor things that you can do in terms of formatting to improve your score, and then we will go back and I will read your introduction, one body paragraph, and your conclusion. So just starting out, what I do is I push this paragraph looking thing, and it actually shows me what you were doing in your essay. So it seems to me that you did a whole bunch of spaces and that you also pushed tab, which you didn't need to do, but it's okay. That's not harmful. The thing that is harmful is this, because you certainly cannot do that. You need to just push the tab button once and be done with it. But so you know, you can always go up here and see what you did. You can click on it and it'll show you what you did. Okay, the other thing is, I'm not Strahler, I'm Miss Strahler. So make sure you get that in there. I see that a title is still something you're working on, just so you know that was a small part of your grade. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. It looks like you are writing your introduction well. The one thing I would say is Interpreter of Maladies, even though it is a short story, is also a book. So if you are talking about the short story Interpreter of Maladies from the book, then go ahead and put the quotation marks around it. But if you are quoting the book itself or a different story within that book, then you will want to make sure that it is italicized. Personally, I would just italicize it, take out the quotation marks in the first place, but whatever works, works. And one of the things, well, anyway, we'll go back to your introduction. I see that we're missing a topic sentence here. It needs to somehow reflect your argument. This right here that I just highlighted, that is your argument. So somehow you need to reflect your argument and point out that you're going to be working with the Odyssey in this particular paragraph, but you've got to somehow include your argument. I see your parenthetical in-text citations are beautiful. One thing that we haven't talked about, but it's extremely important, is if your quotation is going to be more than 4 lines long, as this one is, then you need to actually pull it down and separate it. So it ends up being like this, and that goes all the way over. So then this, let's see, this goes over 1, and it will be pulled out and be all on its own over here. Now that's an extremely long quotation. We'll talk about it. We'll look at it, but that might not be worth it to have so much text. Okay, and when you're talking about ancient Greece, for some reason you lowercase the A and the G is still uppercase. Here I can see you don't need that comma. Let's see if you were doing that up there. Nope. So you must have just gotten distracted. Same thing here, no comma. Okay, and here again. Oh my goodness. And there. Okay, that's good. So far I don't see any incorrect contractions. What is this supposed to mean? Okay, that's interesting. Again, make sure you've got topic sentences that reflect your argument up there. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. This amuses me highly. I'm sure you will figure it out before your final. Okay, here we go. Since the beginning of time, culture has taken a special place in people's daily lives. Culture is all of the socially transmitted behaviors, beliefs, and other products of human works and thoughts of a single society. Somehow that doesn't exactly seem like it's coming from you. So make sure that your definition here reflects you and the way that you think, that it's not copied from something else. People are very comprehensive, so you don't have to say very if you're talking about something that's already a very on its own. For example, comprehensive is pretty comprehensive. People are comprehensive of the norms of their own culture. Maybe do you mean comprehending of the norms of their own culture, but are rarely familiar with customs of other cultures? That's kind of a judgment call. I think I might say, but need to be made familiar with customs of other cultures, or need to engage in other cultures in order to understand their own. Find another way to say that, because it's a judgment that's not necessary in an essay. One way people get a look into other cultures is through all the different types of literature. Readers can experience new cultures through essays, novels, poems, anecdotes, journals, and short stories. I think what you can do here is do your semicolon so that you're combining these two sentences. It's not too long. It fits quite well. Okay, and what you want here, this is still going to be over here, but what you want right here is to tell me about the different stories. For example, The Odyssey by Homer is a story about, and tell me what it's about and how people can experience new cultures through that. Then you can take this out. You can just say The Odyssey, the #1 ladies detective agency, comma, interpreter of maladies, so that your thesis statement doesn't get too bulky. And that's really what I meant when I said to introduce the different stories, is to actually tell in one sentence what it's about. And that's the thing here. Your topic sentence is really what is supposed to go up here in your introduction. You're introducing the stories, you're introducing what you're going to talk about in your essay. Therefore, you will have less narrative, less telling about the story in your actual paragraphs. The goal is to have less narrative, more analysis. Okay, so go ahead and fix that, and I'm going to move on to your first body paragraph. The Odyssey is an action-packed epic poem written by Homer about the Trojan War hero Odysseus and his journey home. Let's do a comma there. So make sure you have a topic sentence that's different. And so hopefully that will be in your introduction instead. So let's start here. Throughout the poem, Odysseus and some of his men from the war take Greece by storm in an attempt to make it home. That doesn't need to be there. That's really interesting. Saying that they took something by storm is colloquial. It's modern language that we use in speaking, but not necessarily in formal writing. So I would work on that. I might take that entire sentence out. The Odyssey gives us a look into the culture of ancient Greece and allows readers to get the feel of what ancient Greece may have been like for a veteran war hero. Cool. In ancient Greece, the gods and goddesses were important to the mortals on land. Combine your sentences. They would pray to the gods and ask for help, and in rare occasions, they would have their prayers answered. Comma. In Book 10, Hermes helps Odysseus after Circe has turned all his companions into pigs. So what does that have to do with culture? I'm so curious, because you've been telling kind of generally about the Odyssey. And then I guess you did go into the gods. Okay, very cool. Hermes said, "Where are you going now, my unlucky friend, trekking over the hills alone in unfamiliar country? And your men are all in there, in Circe's palace, cooped like swine, hawk by jowl in the sties. Have you come to set them free? Well, I warn you, you won't get home yourself. You'll stay right there trapped with the rest." This is really powerful quotation, but you can forego all of it. Forego using all of it. You can just use part of it. Because really, the importance of the gods is not so much that these things that Hermes is saying as much as the impact that his actions have, the impact of his getting involved, actually really shows how important the gods are. It shows that the people don't believe that they can do these things on their own. They need the gods. Another important idea to the Greeks is being hospitable and being, because you just use being, gracious hosts. I can spell. In Book 14, Odysseus is back in Ithaca and has no place to go yet. He heads over to his old servant's house because he knows that any person in Ithaca will be a wonderful host and allow him to stay as long as he needs. You want to be careful here because it's true, he has no place to go yet, but it's because he needs to know who is loyal. He knows he'll get hospitality from anyone, but it's much more specific than that. So you can take this part out, but you can say he's back in Ithaca and has no place to go yet, but he heads over to his old servant's house. When Odysseus asked to stay, you may have said, "It is wrong, my friend, to send any stranger packing, even one who arrives in worse shape than you. Every stranger and beggar comes from Zeus, and whatever scraps they get from the likes of us, they'll find it welcome." You can stop there and just do this. That would be sufficient to prove what you're trying to say. This proves that they value the idea of hospitality and making sure whoever comes their way feels welcome and safe enough to stay in that home. Okay. All right, for time's sake, I need to move on. You are very clearly connecting your quotations to your topic sentence, or what should be your topic sentence, your thesis statement. One of the things that's in the rubric is that your analysis piece will be twice as long as your quotation, which is possible in most every case, unless you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line long quotation. Then it's a lot more difficult. But you want to focus on that. Focus on giving just a little bit more analysis. Push yourself up to that next level. But you're doing a really good job of that so far. Woo, all the way down. Okay. Literature gives readers an opportunity to see into a different culture and experience something new, as seen in The Odyssey by Homer, The Number One Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith, Interpreter of Maladies by Jhumpa Lahiri, and The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Literature teaches us about the importance of hospitality from ancient Greece. Maybe you want to say, these infamous pieces of literature teach us about the importance of hospitality from ancient Greece, the significance of religion from Botswana, the diversity of food from India, and something from the Netherlands. Maybe how people will do anything to survive, or how a need to survive changes people from the Netherlands during World War II. Accessing other cultures is not always an easy task, but literature gives us the opportunity to experience them all. Cool, I like that. Okay, well, you are doing a very good job of writing. You have 5 pages. You are clearly working hard on this. I just gave you some ways that you could get a higher score and ever so slightly improve your writing, and I hope that is helpful, and I really look forward to reading your final.